It is a live edition of the Bleav in Steelers show. I'm Mark Bergin, joined as always by Swaggin' You, two-time Super Bowl champion in Pittsburgh Steelers scout Ike Taylor. IT, it is Friday. I'm feeling good. NFL Week 4 is here. How are you doing this morning, my man?
Man, number football going on. If you look at that Detroit and Green Bay game, that was a good game yesterday. Seeing what Jared Goff and company doing over there. Jordan Love still look good even though they lost. But at the same time, Mark, you said it best, man. It's Friday night lights when it comes down to football in Florida. So here we go.
I hope Ivan is having a fantastic start to his season, Ike, and I know he's working hard with his West Orange teammates. And coming off the Thursday night game, Ike, but the Steelers are going to try to continue and extend their winning streak to 3 games this weekend when they take on the Houston Texans in Houston. And Ike got a first-year head coach, DeMeco Ryans, tough physical football when he was the defensive coordinator with the 49ers. You have a rookie quarterback, too. Quarterback who hasn't turned the football over yet, has no interceptions through 3 games. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Will Anderson's an edge rusher we are going to be talking about for the next 5 to 10 years. Doesn't have the sack totals yet, Ike, but I like what I've seen early from this Texans team.
Yeah, they got a nice little trio. And Will, CJ, and Tank Dell, the Houston wide receiver from college. He wound up getting drafted by the Houston Texans. So they got a young rookie, good trio if all of them can stay healthy. To be a rookie and then going into your 4th game, Mark, and not throw an interception. Hopefully he catches one for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But to be able to do that says a lot, not only about the coaching staff, but his progression and how being smart and understanding. Look, I don't want to put my team in harm's way because I'm still a baby. I'm still learning on the go. Says a lot about him. But on what else can you say, man? Not only do you see what the Houston Texans possibly could be, they're young as heck. And when you see that and you see the maturity level coming from the rookies standpoint, coming from Will, coming from Tank, coming from CJ, when you just see the maturity part on the field, it says a lot on where they're going if they can stay healthy.
I know it's only 3 games, Ike, but you look at the other rookie quarterbacks right now, and it's really like 50-50 if a rookie QB pans out
Right.
or not, Ike. Bryce Young has already missed time with an injury. It looks like he'll be back in week 4. And then Richardson with the Colts was looking pretty good, but he's injured already too. When we were talking about the drafts, I was of the thought process maybe you draft Stroud or Richardson, just given the size and that with Bryce Young's ability. My point being is this: through 3 games, if you're a Texans fan, you have to be encouraged because Stroud has done his thing. And statistically, the Texans really haven't been able to run the ball, and that hasn't been an issue for Stroud at all yet. I know it's a 3-game sample size. I know it's a young season, but he's at least giving you the opportunity to win games because he's able to move the ball down the field despite not having much of a running game, and he hasn't turned the football over.
That's all you can ask from a veteran quarterback. Just don't turn the ball over and give us a chance. Let alone you asking a rookie quarterback, and that's exactly what he's doing, Mark. We know Pierce gonna get the ball rolling. Houston running back, he did a heck of a job last year coming out of Florida. We talked about him when we was talking about our drafts and who we like when it came down to March and them Aprils of last year. But Pierce gonna keep it going. They'll find a way. But when you got a quarterback who already knows the way, in CJ, and he's just being a rookie and understand how critical and how important and turning the ball over is. Not turning the ball over for his team, but turning the ball over for their team. That's huge. So, man, you really can't say enough about CJ's progression, what he's going through, not turning the ball over, even though the running game, I ain't gonna say really struggling. They just haven't clicked. And once they click, and CJ will continue not to turn the ball over, that's what I'm saying. It's a young, good team. You got Tank sitting over there on the wide out position. And on the other side, you know what Will Anderson was doing at Alabama. He's trying to do the same thing coming into Houston.
Yeah, Ike, a lot to unpack there too. And Texans have some injuries along their offensive line. Kendrick Green, revenge game. It looks like he'll get the start at the left guard position for the Texans. So I want to see, is it a matchup the Steelers exploit? Is it something where he is vengeful and wants to show his former team, hey, here's what I can do? And it's interesting too. He's not playing center anymore. He's at the left guard position, the position where he came into the league a little bit more acclimated. But to block this Steelers front and specifically TJ Watt. Texans have injuries along their offensive line. It's hard to do that when you're fully healthy, let alone when you have injuries. And that's, yet again, I think we're going to say this a lot, Ike, week in and week out, but an advantage the Steelers have coming into this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Kendrick Green, regardless. But you want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm always be biased. So big shout out to Kendrick. Hopefully he stay healthy, get his career started where it's going. He's back in a position where he once was drafted at first. I know he, was shifting positions, center, guard, tackle when it came to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even sometimes fullback. Had a pretty good training camp. Was the talk of training camp on coming out the backfield, catching balls and scoring touchdowns and running people over. But this is going against the Pittsburgh Steelers, TJ and company. So we already know what's going to go down. You got the two young studs sitting in the middle between Kento and I'm missing one. My other young D tackle. But for Pittsburgh, man, it's just Cam getting hurt sucks, especially a future Hall of Famer. But it's been a blessing in disguise for the two young studs, O'Neal and Bento, just coming off the bench and sharing that time and really making an impact and showing what a young group can do. We said when Cam got hurt, Mark, that it's gonna take two, because Cam is like, I look at Cam like a Tim Duncan, fundamentally sound. It doesn't matter of the age, or for him it don't matter the age because of his fundamentals. When Tim Duncan, and that's the Hall of Fame center, forward slash center who played with the San Antonio Spurs, for everybody who's listening. When you look at Tim Duncan, there was really nothing really exciting about his game, but he was fundamentally sound. He was a coaching teaching point. Every coach wanted their kid or player, because it was never about talent for Tim Duncan. The same thing with Cam. It's never about the talent. It's always about his technique, and he's very fundamentally sound. That's why he's able to play 15, 16, 17 years at that D tackle position, because talent won't never the issue. He understood, man, if I'm just going to be fundamentally sound, I can play as long as I want to play. That's how I look at Cam. So that's why I say it's 2-1. Then when you got some youngsters who's been under Cam, whether it's their second year or their rookie year, between O'Neal and Bento, it's like, I got the talent. Now, if I can get my technique down and be fundamentally sound like Cam, the sky's the limit. And now you're seeing that with the defensive line, the two young D tackles with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's why I'm saying it's going to be hell when it comes down to the Houston Texans offensive line versus the young studs, plus TJ Watt, plus Highsmith, plus Herbert, just coming off the edge. So it's a lot going on, and we call that the interstate. When the offensive line, your defensive line, we call that the interstate. It's a lot going on in the interstate, and I'm glad I'm not around though.
I don't forget about my Mizzou guy, Marcus Golden off the edge.
Yes.
2 sacks in as many weeks, in a reserve role for the Steelers. Now, Cam Hayward, the earliest he could come back is following the bye week against the Rams. So he'll miss this game. He'll also miss the week 5 game against the Baltimore Ravens. And that's because he's on IR as he recovers from that groin injury. And Ike, I do like the way that the young guys, Leal and Benton, has stepped up, and Hayward's absence. I like that you already have a nickname for Keanu Benton with Bento. I like that. I was like, at first I'm like, who is Ike talking about? It's like, oh, the rookie out of Wisconsin.
Yeah. Down south in New Orleans, man, we always nicknaming everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So Benton, Bento, we always give somebody a nickname. That's just what it is. I was about to say Shaq O'Neal, but I said, you know what, I ain't gonna call O'Neal that. So that's just what it is, because he's playing big in the trenches. But Pittsburgh, man, Pittsburgh do a heck of a job, especially on drafting. We all know this, and it's been going on since the 70s. But just to see, like I said, I just think it's a blessing in disguise. Off of what happened with Cam will get Cam back. It's just getting the young guys a lot of experience, and really they're starting to tune and load up. So now, if you look at Cam's situation, we don't have to rush Cam back, so them guys playing at a high level. But like we said earlier, when Cam got hurt, it's gonna take two to be one of Cam, and that's exactly what's going on though.
Yeah, Ike, Sunday's game is going to be in honor of JJ Watt. The Texans will honor and induct him into the team's ring of honor. And I would have loved to see J.J. Watt in a Steelers uniform. You can never have too many Watts on your team. I fully expect the entire Watt family to be there in Houston this weekend. Is the Texans honor a player who, in my opinion, will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And it's so I hope the Texans aren't like playing for JJ and everything too and are all inspired, but I hope this actually inspires TJ Watt. But it will be cool that TJ will get to see the Texans honor his older brother, because we can point to statistically everything he accomplished on the field, all of his on-field achievements. To me, what stands out the most with JJ Watt is in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey, what he was able to do for his community. And that's something any athlete should aspire for. So excited to see the Texans recognize what I will say is, since the Texans came back into existence, also the best player in franchise history, in Houston Texans franchise history.
I mean, what do you know? They honoring JJ Watt on the same Sunday his brother's playing against his former team. But you said it best, man. What we all know what JJ Watt is. He's a future Hall of Famer, defensive player of the year multiple times. His brother TJ is just as instinctive as JJ is. But when a hurricane came through Houston and JJ got the whole world attention to help out. And JJ was going out by himself, him and his teammates helping out the community. And JJ Watt showed another side of him as being a Captain America, so say, for the city of Houston. So that's what really impressed me about JJ Watt. JJ Watt on the field, he already had his blueprint on what he was when it came down to being on the field, whether JJ Watt was catching interceptions, whether JJ Watt was forcing fumbles, or whether JJ Watt was playing tight end and coming out the backfield and catching touchdowns. That was just JJ Watt. But what happened to the city of Houston during the hurricane, and to see JJ Watt take it personal, so say, and put the city of Houston underneath his wing and captures everybody's attention as far as like nationwide, that said a lot. Got a lot of the money donated to the city of Houston and its foundation, and poured that right back into the community. So that's what I love about JJ Watt. JJ Watt gonna always be a dog. So say we always thought JJ Watt was a brother, as we would like to say. But let's get to TJ Watt as well. TJ Watt will be home. His brother's home. So his brother's getting in the ring of honor. The next couple of years, JJ gonna wind up getting in the Hall of Fame. But TJ Watt, I mean, what can you say about TJ Watt? You talking about being fired up? I'm sure that's gonna be an emotional moment for all the Watt family. But at the same time, TJ still got to get on that field. So how I'm looking at TJ, like he gonna go crazy. We talking about CJ Stroud not throwing the first interception. It might be the first interception to TJ. CJ Stroud not throwing the interception. His first one might be to TJ. We shall see. But it's just that super instinctive Watt trace, you want to say, from a defensive lineman / outside linebacker, Mark, to have a safety / linebacker instincts, but on the line of scrimmage. That's hard. Them people don't come around too often. When you finish the season off with 20-some sacks, 10 PBUs, and 3 picks, you're like, man, what position they play? Nah, he played defensive line. Huh? That's TJ Watt. So that's what I'm always say. As long as TJ Watt is on the field, ain't nobody better on defense in the league than TJ Watt. You know what I'm saying? So
first in the league in sacks, like first in forced fumbles, quarterback hits. He has 12 of those, first there as well. And then he's second in fumble recoveries and second for tackles for a loss. He's got a fumble return for a touchdown. He's been all over through the first 3 weeks of the season. And in 2 of those games, Cam Hayward's not playing either. So it's been unbelievable for TJ Watt thus far this season.
Man, you see ET riding on that extraterrestrial. You see ET riding on that bike going past that moon, man. That's TJ all day. There's only one person who can do it. So TJ will make the second. But that's just what it is, man. TJ you can't really say enough about TJ. I'm gonna keep saying this, man. We can talk about whoever we want to talk about. We need to keep talking about TJ Watt and how good of a season he's having so far. But this is just what he do.
Yeah, and there's a huge difference when he's out on the field versus when he's not, which is what we saw last season when he had the injury. Robert checking in saying TJ is going to have himself a game against his brother's team. Going to be a lot of wattage in the house. Robert, thanks for checking in. Thanks for watching
I
us
agree.
live
I
here
agree,
on
Robert. I
in
agree
the
with
Bleav
you
and Steve
100%.
show. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Ike, I do want to discuss a key to the game because we have to do a shorter pod today. In your opinion, Steelers Texans, what do you think is the key to victory for Pittsburgh come Sunday?
Is back to the back on the quarterbacks. Mark, I mean, you hit it on the head earlier in the show. We talked about CJ Stroud, and as a rookie, his maturity and understanding, not turning the ball over, going to give us a chance to win a lot of games. Same thing with Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett got to feel the same way. Not turning the ball over is going to give us a chance to win this game. But at the same time, man, if Kenny Pickett and company and Coach Matt Canada, the OC, and they get the George Pickens on the roll and the Calvin Austin the thirds to get the running deep and running past people, probably opening up some lanes and taking the roof off. We'll see getting your Pat Pheromones involved again. That was good to see. But at the same time, man, how about the two running back combo between Najee and Jaylen Warren? We talked about Jaylen Warren coming off the bench, having that electricity. As soon as he come off the bench, that pop, that burst. So we shall see. But at the same time, we'll see what Houston do. We'll see if the Pittsburgh Steelers coming off a hot secondary, can they slow down Tank Dell and company and CJ and give CJ his first interception? But for me, it's the battle of the quarterbacks. And I won't say this every week, but the last 2 weeks I thought it was between Jimmy Garoppolo and Kenny, and I thought Kenny won that battle. This week I'm gonna say it's between CJ Stroud because I like the maturity, even as a rookie at the quarterback position, not turning the ball over, and Kenny Pickett again.
Yeah, Pickett with his first multi-touchdown game through the air, season high 235 yards passing against the Raiders on Sunday Night Football. And I don't know if we talked about this much after the Raiders game, but winning the turnover battle 3-0 against the Raiders, I thought was huge. You mentioned targeting Pat Freiermuth. That was my biggest disappointment coming off the Week 2 Monday night game, and that the Steelers only targeted him once. I'd like to see the Steelers continue to utilize him in the passing game, get him involved in those combat catches. And Ike, I'm going to steal your thunder here just a little bit too. It is clear to me that Kenny Pickett is an effective passer out of the play action. He goes 6 of 8 in Week 3. Continue to utilize the play action, and to do that, you have to establish the running game. They won that battle against the Raiders. Can you do it again against a Houston Texans team in Week 4? That's going to be the big thing for me, Ike. My score prediction is this. I think the Steelers take care of business and start out the first quarter of the season 3-1. I've got the Steelers winning 24-20 on Sunday in Houston.
Hey, make sure y'all go to betonline.ag and make sure you put in a wager.
Yes, Ike, glad you mentioned that. That is today's presenting sponsor of the Bleav in Steelers show. Head over to betonline.ag. They'll take care of all of your NFL gambling needs this season. You can see the promo code on your screen right now. That's BLEAV. You'll receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online where the game starts. Ike, anything else before we wrap up here? I want to make sure I get you out on time.
No, we're good. Just make sure y'all go to betonline.ag 365 24/7, whatever sport, whatever you want to put a wager on, make sure y'all hit them up for sure. I want to thank Mark. I want to thank everybody for tuning in on this short podcast. But we got bills to pay around here. I want to thank Bleav in Steelers podcast for always rocking with us. But we just thank everybody for tuning in, and I'll let Mark close.
For Ike Taylor, I'm Mark Bergin. Thanks for watching Bleav in Steelers. We'll have a full recap of Steelers and Texans next week. We'll see you then. Take care. So long, everybody.